Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Clarity Social TV. My name's Paul Church from Clarity Craft here in the UK, and today we're joined by the lovely Jazz. Good afternoon, Jazz.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone.
Getting quite regular now at sort of being in front of the camera, aren't you?
Still not used to it.
No, it's just like old friends getting
true.
together, isn't it?
It is.
So we're coming a little bit early today just to allow our friends at home to find us and pull up a chair and grab a tea or a coffee and some. There was talk of cake this morning.
Oh, don't! I'm on a diet.
So we've got lovely Jane in the room. Hopefully, Jane, the sound is nice and clear. Look, Jane's the first one in
There
so
she
far.
is.
There
Hi,
she
Jane.
is. Jane and Colin, little picture on her Facebook icon. I'm guessing it's Colin. Might have a fancy man. So we're here to keep you company for the next hour. And Clarity Social TV is all about sort of like, since Creating Crafty now until is no more, then what we do is we bring on a regular basis, Mondays, Tuesdays and Fridays.
Yes.
We do what we call Selly Telly. And as you know, and what we do is, so like on a Monday morning at 10 o'clock, it's in the Shack with Barb.
Yeah.
And then 2 o'clock in the afternoon, we look at some stamps. Then on a Tuesday at 10 o'clock, we have Groovi Tuesday. And then at 2 o'clock the afternoon, we bring the Groovi version of what Barb had in the stamps. Then Thursday evening, we have the Shack at 7 p.m.
Yes.
Or sometimes it's a craft along. And then on Friday, we have 10 and 2, where it's either Barbara or myself. And then on this Friday, we have the lovely Deborah Wheeler joining us this week.
Exciting.
So there we go. Grace, sound is great. So Gracie's in the room as well. So if you have any questions, thanks, Gracie. Another text message there. Yeah, it is. Jane said it is Colin. He's not here though. He's in the garden.
Oh.
So there we go. All our friends are coming in to join us now. So if you have any questions during the course of the hour, if you put the question in the post, Gracie will pick up on it, and then she'll message us, and we'll try and answer that what we can. So yesterday in the 2 o'clock show, we brought a collection of designs from Tina Cox, didn't we? Now, many of our friends at home, if they're tuning in for Groovi, then the name Tina Cox you'll be familiar with. And what I love about Tina's designs, and I'm sure you'll agree, Jazz, is that her designs are quite fresh and funky.
Absolutely.
But they suit people of all ages, don't they?
Yes, they do.
So yesterday we had the Kiss by Clarity Tina's Flowers collection. And it proved really, really popular. Now, if you missed yesterday's show, you can go back, and I'll show you shortly how you can go back and watch the previous episodes. And also, when we bring you what we call Selly Telly, we'll demonstrate something, and we often bring you like a little download. And we forgot to show you the download yesterday, so I thought what we'll do a little bit of housekeeping and show our friends at home how they can order. And what it looks like on the website.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So
should we bring up the? Should we have a look at the first item then first on our pack shot?
Go on then.
Okay.
Let's have a look.
So what we have here is, there we go. We'll just bring in the details because we're jumping between screens. Okay. So we've got 3 different sets from you. We broke it down into 3 different sets compared to yesterday. So what have we got here, Jazz?
Okay, so this is Tina's Springtime Flowers. This is set 1, the A6 and Spaces Groovi Plate Collection. The item number for this one is 41884. Here, so your RRP is £45.96, but you are saving £15.96. So that's a saving of £30. And if you're in
that's what you're saying. You're paying £30.
You're paying £30. Sorry, pardon me.
You've already given your saving.
Sorry about that, everyone.
Double bubble.
Double bubble. But yes, if you are in the Diamond Club, you are only going to be spending £25.50.
Wow, so that's a really good saving. So if you look at the Diamond Club member, if they're only paying £25.50, that is a £20 46p saving. So that's really good.
Wow,
I think that's
amazing.
right.
I would trust you.
So what we have here, we've got, so it's the same sort of layout as it was yesterday with the stamps. So you've got your, what we're looking at, our A6 Groovi plates here. So that's the equivalent of the A6 stamps from yesterday.
Yes.
And then the little spacer bars just above that, they are the equivalent of the little A7 stamp sets we brought you yesterday
They
as
are,
well.
of course, because we don't offer A7 size because they won't fit in a plate mate.
Correct.
But here with the spacer, you can use them with your A6 to use the plate mate in the starter kit.
That's right. So what Jazz did, she worked her magic because they started off as stamps first, I believe, didn't they?
They did, yes.
In the Kiss range, and then they went into the Groovi plates. Now, there's several ways you can order. So as Jazz said, you've got that item number at the top. So you can either go to claritycrafts.com, put that in the search engine and it will bring it up. Or you can call our UK call centre, which is the lovely Sue below, on 01732 868 215. Now, let me show you the front of our website. Maybe you're tuning in for the first time and you're new to Clarity. So what I've got my iPad here, and what I wanted to do was share with you. So this is what the front of our website looks like. Now you have this little button up here that says Clarity TV. If I click on there, the internet's really slow in this room on the Wi-Fi. What you'll see is all the products featured during the course of this hour. Okay, and this will stay on there until we bring you our next episode of Clarity TV, which will be on Friday. And you can see there, everything is available individually. You've got the various different bundles on there as well. Now, if, for example, you miss a show and you're tuning in afterwards, what you can do is where it says Catch Up and Craft, click here. So you click that button there. There we go. I'm going to put my hand there. There we go, until it loads. So you can see this will be the live broadcast as we're talking now. We've got a little download there for the demo I'm going to share with you today. Now, if you missed yesterday's one with Barb, if you like the stamp version, you can watch it. You can click this button here that will list all the products that Barb was using yesterday. However, if you click this download button, what it does is it brings up a download of one of the demos that Barb did yesterday. So it tells you the time, the date, what the project was called, what was made. That camera still hasn't arrived yet if anyone's watching, and then what was used. Now, whilst it's still on your computer or your iPad or your phone or whatever tablet that you're using, if you click one of those links, it will take you direct. Okay, but what many of our friends at home are doing, I'm going to go back now. Let me just go over there. I'll just put my hand there. If I go back to the home page. Now, what many of our friends are doing are printing off. And what we've done, we've actually improved the quality of the downloads.
We have.
So we made a few tweaks, didn't we, Jazz, to the image. So it's exactly the same, but now you can see you have a better quality image. So this was the one from yesterday. And then this, I've taken my inspiration. Now, I'm not sure whether it's a Jane or a Glynis because there's sequence on there, there's a little bit of stitching. I'm thinking it's more Glynis than Jane, but I might be wrong.
We'll find out, maybe in the chat.
We will find out. So I thought what we'll do, because there's 3 different bundles, and obviously we're limited on space on what we can show on our extensive counter. So what we've done, Jazz has very kindly, she's gone through and she's sorted out all the artwork. So we'll look at set 1 and we'll break down each plate individually. Do you reckon that's a good idea?
Let's go for it.
Okay.
Brilliant.
So what we'll do, set 1 is on your screen. So let's have a look at set 1 then, Jazz. Okay, I'm going to put my hands there until we come in.
Right,
so this is the first plate. Now, this is the plate traced out. If you want the plate individually, I'm going to zoom out a little bit. This is where I get a shock from the camera. It's just me. I mean, having all this hair just gets static. So I'm just going to zoom out a little bit. Mr. Jim has been pacing up and down waiting for that delivery driver to arrive with the new camera. So this is your first plate in set 1. And then we've got a little bit of artwork. This one is from Karen Jackson, just to give you some ideas and inspiration on what you can do with it. So you've got a lovely frame. Now what Karen's done, she's cut this out individually and been pico cut. Then this one, I don't even need to look at this one. This one is Frances Knott. So she's used one of Linda Williams' easy layout plates and broken it up into different sections, taken different flowers, and she's probably mixed with some of the other plates as well. There's that, look at that vase.
I know, isn't it beautiful?
And it was exactly the same when we were looking in the stamp version yesterday, because a lot of these are individual elements, aren't they?
Yes, yes. But what I love about this plate is you have got a finished card, really.
Yeah.
In itself there, if you wanted to keep it simple.
And you, as we know with Groovi, you can swap out the sentiment in the middle, can't you?
Yes.
You don't have to, like Frances has done here, she's put the words love. There we go. See? So that's that one. So that's the first one in that set. Okay. Then the next one is, we're going to do a swap like that. Whee! So this one here, this is Hugs and Love. Yeah, I called it Lugs earlier. Lugs and Hove. So one piece at a time. So this one here, nice and colourful, taking that centerpiece and then just taking this flower to create a wreath. Now, who's done this one? This one is from Carol Baker. There we go. So that gives you some ideas there. Now, this one's interesting. I love this dangly bit.
The dangle, yeah.
And just like the stamps, you've got it in two different places. So this one is another piece from Carol Baker. Look at all this frame around the outside. And I'm going to bring this up because it's quite faint in colourway. But look at that, just in the middle. Dream Hope. So it's a combination of different plates. And because it's Tina style, you know that you can mix and match all the different elements.
That's right.
Okay, so that's the next one. And then we'll bring the next one in.
Yeah.
So you get 4 of your A6 plates. So this is the third. I like this one. This one's from Karen Jackson. Now what Karen's done, she's taken this bouquet and see this little dragonfly.
Yeah.
Look, all the way around the outside.
How pretty.
And when you think you've got, I love this flower as well.
Yeah.
See, and you could just do the flower here. Then the second one to share with you is from Glynis. I like that a lot. So it's a top and tail, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So you can put any sentiment in the middle.
Yeah.
You know, it's a great frame.
And I like that you've got the words in sort of like big and little and everything else. It makes it stand out a little.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the fourth one in this collection is, I know in the stamp, this was one that Barb was working on yesterday. So you know that download for the stamp that Barb did yesterday. There we go. That's it in the stamp.
There you go.
And here it is in the Groovi.
And you still get so much of that detail in those small flowers.
I know,
don't
it's
you?
crazy, isn't it? Sometimes I know when you're testing it and you think, am I really going to get that detail?
Yeah, sometimes I think, oh, I'm pushing the boat out a little bit, but it just works.
Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it? A little bit of perga glitter on there. That one is from Josie Davidson. Now this is from Tina herself.
I love this
and Tina's used one of her other plates. But look at this frame. And I think this one is from that previous one, isn't it?
It is,
I
using
reckon.
this one here.
Yeah, so what Tina's done, she's used this one to fill that frame. And then, I know, look, Barb's been looking at cutting opportunities, hasn't she? With that dragonfly.
Yes.
In the coaster for her mum and for dear Maggie. Look at that. Look at those little, I've got to come up really close to those little leaves at the bottom.
Wow.
Look at that. Crazy. There we go. So that's the fourth one in that set. And then we've got all our little spacers. So we'll bring the spacers there. I'm gonna go like that. So you get 4 spacers in this collection. So you've got this one. And look, these little ones here. So it's a smaller version. You've got that flower. And then this one here was, Barbara did that stamp demo yesterday, didn't she?
Yes,
where she put the drop shadow on. You've got all your sentiments on there as well. And all of these are available individually. And then we've got a couple of pieces of artwork. This one's from Carol Baker. And Carol has very simply just taken that same flower there that Barb used. And then this one is from Josie Davidson, another of Linda Williams' easy layout plates. So it's like little mini makes, isn't it?
It
in each.
is.
You're just breaking it down and using different elements to it. Okay, so that is set 1, which is currently on your screen. Okay, now set 2.
Set
Do
2.
we have a favorite, or I don't know? It's hard to decide,
it's
isn't
too
it?
hard,
Okay.
isn't it? Right.
So let's have a
Let
look at set 2. There we go.
Oi.
So we'll bring that one in.
And I'll pop it up on the screen
There
as
we
well
go.
for
Change the
everyone.
details. So there we go. So do you want to tell us about this one, Jazz?
Okay, so this is set 2 of Tina's Springtime Flowers, the complete Groovi plate collection. Your item number is 42078. So with this one, again, the RRP is £45.96. You are saving £15.96. So that's a special price of £30.
And if you belong to our Diamond Club,
£25.50.
super duper.
Wow.
So let's have a look at some inspiration from this collection. So this one is from Tina herself. So Tina's taken that little bouquet up here and top and tailed it. So it looks circular, doesn't it? Using our Pico dies. Then she's taken, not this border, this is from a different plate that she's infilled around the outside. This one here from Carol Baker. She's taken that and made a complete frame around the outside and just isolated one of those little flowers.
It's a bit like a daisy chain around the outside, isn't it?
Yeah.
I like that.
I love the monochromatic look.
Yes,
on that
me
one.
too.
Okay, so then the next one, let's go. We'll get this right by the end of it, Jay. So this is the next one in the collection. And look, in the center of that vase, just as it is with the stamp, just to say, and then underneath, you are in my thoughts. You got a border on there, you've got little flower elements, and this one here, another one by Tina Cox.
Look at those colours.
I know. Isn't that lovely? Grid work around the outside. So it's just by changing the colour of the flowers can give it a different look. Now I know this is Glynis. This is we're talking about mini make, so little tags, perfect for that. And Glynis has infilled the vase with a grid pattern.
Oh yes, she has.
Bring that up. Sorry, let that focus. Is it going to focus? Come on, bring my finger in. There we go.
There you go.
Look at that. I like that. Having that open vase, just like Barb did yesterday on one of those little stamp sets, and you can just build up your little pattern on the inside.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Then the next one. There we go. I like this one to brighten your day. And I'm going to have a look at this one because this is where my inspiration's been taken from for this hour. This one I know is Tina Cox. So she's used that in the background and then used one of the other plates. This one is from set 3. But look at this frame. Look at that.
Stunning.
No Pico cutting there on this occasion, Tina.
No.
But isn't it lovely? Really nice and soft colouring.
Yeah.
Some perga glitter, because Tina does love her sparkle. And this is from one of Tina's other plates. It's the Doodle Discs, I think this one's called.
That's it, yeah.
Yeah. So if you like that, that's where you'll find that on the website. And then this one's rather clever from Julie Campbell. I like this one. The little bumblebee, little trail. Is that on that particular plate? No, it's from another one, isn't it? And remember that daisy chain we looked at from that other plate?
Oh, wow.
That's down the edge.
Yeah.
And then this is from another plate.
So interchangeable,
so really,
aren't they?
And they work so well together, don't they? And then the next one is just the fourth one in this collection.
Is the fourth,
okay.
Yes.
So this one is, I like this one. It reminds me of sort of like the dandelion, you know, that you blow.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called?
Me too.
And then you turn it this way and you've got your best wishes. You've got high, all these, look, these little hearts on a stalk. This one here is from Karen Jackson. Works lovely in an oval. And I think this is Carol Baker, this one. Look at that.
Wow. Look at that frame.
All that fancy. I reckon that's one of Josie's frames around the outside. So changing the colour gives it a different look. And then you've got all the spacers in this collection as well. So don't forget the numbers at the top, all available individually. So you've got Thinking of You, you've got Happy Today to You, I Choose You, I Love You, that's pretty. Wishing you lots of happiness, have a great day, and then look, that little vase. So if you're into your mini makes and your ATCs and your PTCs, this will be great for those.
Oh, they're perfect, aren't they?
Yeah.
All of them.
So let's have a look at some inspiration from this collection from Karen Jackson. So Karen, there we go, has taken that one there and gone round all four sides and just taken that one flower in the middle.
I love those soft colours.
And
So
I reckon that
beautiful.
panel there, I've got a piece of parchment which is cut to 2.5 by 3.5, which is the size of a PTC. So that would work really well in there. And then this one, another one from Carol Baker, the vase, the flower. I loved it. This morning in Groovi Tuesday, we were asking favourite colours, and blues was coming up really as a really popular colour.
Right, because I wouldn't normally associate blue with flowers and plants, but that is just stunning, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay,
Really
and
vibrant.
that's the second collection. And then what we're going to do, we're now going to have a look at the third and final collection. So I shall swap that with the lovely Jazz.
All right.
There we go.
Here we go.
And we've got the smaller collection. You've got two A6 plates. There we go. Swap over to there as well. So the complete collection is up on your screen, which is 42079. And the details from Jazz are...
Okay, so the RRP for these is £18.48. But you will be getting a saving of £5.48. So that's a special price of £13. And now if you are in the Diamond Club, that's £11.05.
Wow, that's really good.
Isn't it?
Considering how much value you get on each of these plates. And I love this flower. This is the hello one, or as we were saying yesterday, hell.
Hell.
And you've got your little spacer in there as well. So maybe if you're new to the Groovi and you want to expand your collection, maybe this would be a nice starting place to do that.
Good idea.
This one's from Tina Cox. So Tina has just taken this one flower from here, and then that other one from that previous collection in the background.
Yes, lovely.
I love I'm an orange and red and yellow, and this one really sort of jumped out to me from Glynis. Look.
Oh yeah, like a sunset.
So this one is just using that one flower, and then she's used one of our poetry plates to add in the sentiment. Then this one is from Carol Pankstello. Perfect for a little bookmark.
Oh yes.
Mini makes, bookmark. And then the final one is from Julie Campbell. Do you remember that little one that goes all the way around the vase from there? But she's created her own vase of flowers.
Beautiful.
Really, really nice. So there's lots of different ideas and inspiration there for you to choose from. I'm going to hand this back to the lovely Jazz. I'm sure everything's going okay in the chat. So what I thought we'd do this morning, Jazz, in Groovi Tuesday, we were looking at, we've been working with your sampler, the Rosie sampler.
Yeah.
And we've been introducing colour, and we had a lot of questions about what do we use to colour in, what's best, is it the pens, the pencils, and everything else. So I thought what we'd do during the course of this hour, we'll hopefully get some more questions coming in. But I'm going to have a look at what you can do with the pencils, the Pergaliner pencils, what you can do with the Pergacolour pens.
Oh, yeah.
We're also going to have a look at the Faber-Castell pencils.
Okay.
The Pergamano metallic gel pens.
Yes.
And if we get time, I'm going to have a look at the shader tools as well, to add a little bit of white work as well. Now, if you're tuning in for the first time and you're thinking, what you keep going on about these PTCs, ATCs, mini makes, what is the mini makes and the PTCs and the ATs all about, Jazz?
Okay, so there was a group set up, thinking a few years ago now, originally. Yeah. So the point of the group is that you make mini art.
Yeah.
So the size is 3.5 by 2.5, where you create a beautiful piece of artwork, which you would then send off to a friend, and then you
swap.
would receive a piece of artwork from them. Really exciting.
So this year of Colour at Clarity, and Barb did, it was a blog post on the 1st of January, and she was speaking about losing mojo and trying to get inspired, especially with everything that's been going on in the business side of things.
Of course.
And trying to keep the wheels turning, so to speak. So sometimes it's really hard to kickstart the sort of creativity. And when Barb posted that, there was a lot of people that seemed to be in the same boat, especially over Christmas or in the lead up to Christmas.
Yeah.
People had lost their mojo. Life gets in the way. I mean, to all of us, doesn't it? So Barb had the idea, new year, new idea. And that new idea was to create a brand new Facebook group called Clarity Crafts Mini Makes and ATCs. And as Jazz was saying earlier, we've got Groovi Worldwide and we've got Clarity Worldwide on Facebook. And there was two what we call ATC PTC swaps.
Yeah.
The Groovi was run by Jane and the Stampy one was run by Elizabeth Goldsmith. And the idea behind that is like pen pals, so to speak. So you put your name down to join in. The ladies would then match you up with someone. You contact that person, and then you create a piece of artwork, which, as you said, is 2.5 by 3.5 inches. Okay. And you swap it and you share ideas, and it gives little bits of ideas and inspiration. But not everybody wants to do that.
No.
They just want to get the ideas and inspiration, and they want to kickstart their mojo. So this is where the mini makes come into play. So the idea behind this new Facebook group is that you can go on there, you join, it's nice and safe, just like the normal Clarity and Groovi Worldwide, and people can post little bits of artwork. Barb's been using a little journal with the tea bags and been sharing.
Love that.
At the weekend, she chopped up a big piece to make smaller pieces. And for those of you that are sort of joining in, Barb's involved in the ATC. I'm involved in the PTC. And what's PTC and ATC? ATC is the artist trading card, and PTC is the parchment trading card. So it's just a little gimmicky type thing.
Right.
But we've sourced some fantastic storage folders, haven't we?
No.
And we launched these yesterday, and they've been very, very popular. We've got a limited run on them, okay, and just to test the waters, and we went for 3 different colours, okay. And I thought the most popular colour would be blue. No, black. I thought black was going to, because it's neutral.
Really?
No.
No?
So should we have a look? Do you want to hold them up? Just hold them up so we can see the 3 different colours. So we've got the striking pink, the lovely blue, and also the black. And the most popular so far this morning was the blue.
Has been the blue. Okay.
Followed by the pink and followed by the black.
Really?
Yeah.
I like the black. That's what I do
as well. So what we'll do, I'll put one of them on the overhead so we can share with our friends. So these are great. So, sorry, the camera will behave. Okay, let's come in on this camera. It must be an afternoon thing with this camera. So let me see. I think it might have adjusted itself. So let's try.
There we go.
Okay. So item number for the pink is 31757, which Jazz has kindly put up on the screen. So you've got this elasticated band.
Oh, we've gone a bit blurry.
There we go.
There we go.
And this is Barb's one. So this was her ATC swap. So she's kept the little card from her swap partner. But you've got all these little pockets that you can store your artwork in. And it holds 160 little pieces of artwork.
Does it really?
Yeah, believe it or not.
I didn't know that.
So this will definitely keep you going for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you take part in both the stamp and the Groovi. So a lovely little way of storing it. Or if you're working on ATCs and stuff like that, keep them in there, or just use it as a little reference that you can go back and look at and stuff like that.
Yeah, all your kind of scraps. Well, I saw someone in the chat a while ago say
Ooh,
you could put in your when you cut out your dies, and the little elements that you might use in the future for a mini make will fit perfectly too.
Lovely.
Yeah.
So your pink one is 31757. Your blue one is, this is going to be my one, 3175. Although I do like the black one. I think the black looks quite regal. This matched yesterday's shirt because I had a blue and white shirt on. So this would be my blue and white one there. But I do like the black one.
Match today.
There we go, which is 31755. So the contents are exactly the same. You've got 160 pockets, but it's a lovely way of storing your bits of artwork.
Yeah,
isn't it?
It is.
Okay, so what I've done is I'm going to take my inspiration from this little piece of artwork. I'm hoping Jane will let me know. I think this is either a Jane or a Glynis, but I could be completely wrong. So, because there was no name on it, and it's got sequins and beads on it. Okay, so this is really, really lovely. So what I decided to do, so this one is from, I think this is from set 2, or no, set 1, I think, or set 2, I can't remember now.
Set 2.
Set 2. Okay, so Jazz will bring up the details for set 2 on the screen. There we go. And what I decided to do, there was a question I noticed, was there a die to cut out 2.5 by 3.5 inches?
Oh, good point.
Because the Pico dies are just slightly bigger.
Yeah.
So we have our nested rectangle dies, okay, which are perfect. So the item number for that is 30631, and it's on a special price as well.
It is. So it's on a special price of $19.99. So you are saving £5.
So that's really good. And this is perfect for your parchment, for your card, your paper. And the one that you need to use, this is my set here, is this one here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 one in, or 4 from the middle. Okay, and that will give you your perfect size for your PTC.
Amazing.
Or just a little topper. So what I did was I cut out several pieces of parchment at the same time, and I got, from an A5 piece, I got 3 out of one A5 piece, and I had some scrap to make a bookmark.
Lovely.
As well.
That works.
Okay. So once we've die cut that out, what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to this plate here. Now, in our starter kit, you have your plate mate. Okay. And what you'll notice, sorry, blah, 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 blah. I think it's an afternoon thing, you know.
I think so. Oh, and again.
Okay. Keep your hand there, Paul. Okay. So this is our plate mate that comes in the starter kit. Okay. And if I take the plates that we've got on the show, you'll see that these are an A6 and they slide in, but they move around.
Yes.
So this is where the little spacer plates come into play. We could have given you a piece of acrylic that just was blank, but we don't. We always give you lots of detail. And that goes into there to complete your A5 square.
Perfect.
Okay. So what I decided to do, let's have a look. Let me turn this around this way. Okay. Doesn't matter. As long as you can read the word Groovi and you can feel the grooves, you know it's right. I mean, if I wanted to, I could go like that. Depends what way I'm working, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, cool.
So it's whatever you feel comfortable using. Now, I've taken a little piece of that 2.5 by 3.5 inch parchment. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to wipe on the back. And I'm going to do this on my black mat. And so that I don't get the lubricant from the tumble dry sheet on the plate. Because what that can do, it can stop the Groovi tabs from sticking.
Yes, okay.
So I'm wiping it on the black mat first. Then I'm going to come in and I'm going to take the happy today to you as my little sentiment. And I'm going to pop that right at the bottom of that panel. And what I'm doing is I'm lining up the edge of the parchment with the edge of the plates. Okay, so I know that that sentiment's going to go on nice and straight.
Okay, good idea.
Yeah. Now I've got my well-loved Groovi guard with all my little Groovi tabs on. Okay, and what I'm going to do for, sometimes you can get a little bit of movement because these are all laser cut. Okay, you can sometimes get a little bit of movement on them. So what I'm going to do to stop them moving is I'm going to put a Groovi tab across all three so it holds it nice and secure
Right.
in my plate.
Don't want it to wobble while you're
tracing out.
No.
Then I'm going to line it up so it's across this bottom like so. Groovi tab up there to hold it. And then a Groovi tab just down there. Okay, so that's going to hold it nice and secure. I'm going to put my glasses on. And just to keep it nice and simple, I'm going to take the #1 tool that comes in the starter kit, which is like a fine stylus. Okay, and all I'm going to do now, I'm going to use my Groovi guard to focus the area on which I'm working. I'm going to press into that groove and trace out the sentiment. I haven't got to worry about spelling because it's very kindly already been done for me. Okay, and all we're going to do is, really, I don't need to know what this is saying, so to speak. All, as far as I'm concerned, this is just a groove in a plate.
Yeah.
Yeah, if that makes sense. So, but it just happens to say, happy today to you.
The sentiments are quite quirky on these plates, aren't they?
They are.
I really like them.
It says it all about Tina, really, doesn't it? But yeah, they are slightly different from your traditional sort of happy birthday, or yeah, I can hear Tina saying it actually as I'm tracing it out. Okay, so now I have my little sentiment in place, like so. I turn it over. Look at that. Happy today to you.
Lovely.
Nice and crisp. The detail on that is crazy.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what I want to do now, I'm going to turn this round so I can have a look at the flowers here. And I'm going to have my flowers coming out of my sentiment. So I'm using this line here on my plate to make sure my parchment is nice and straight. And I'm just going to slide it up until I'm happy of where, I mean, if I don't want that flower, I don't have to include it.
No.
Do I? So if I wanted to, I could come down and ignore that. But just to keep it nice and easy, I'm going to take that like so. This is where you need all your Groovi tabs, really, for your little pieces of artwork. Now, I've already wiped that. Now, what I'm going to do, because I don't want to go through the sentiment, is I'm going to do the stalk. And as I get towards the letter, I'm going to lift off and flick.
Okay.
Okay, so what it will do is it will give me a very, it's as if it disappears.
Right.
Okay.
I've never thought of that before.
And this is a trick that I've seen Barb do when she's trying to extend a square and you have to try and get a line to meet.
Yes.
If you flick at either end, it makes it a lot easier.
Okay.
Okay. So then what we're going to do here is just trace out our flowers now. Now I could replace these flower heads with some of the other flowers that we have in the collection. You could replace the stalks with the butterflies.
Yeah.
So you could have a bouquet of butterflies.
You could. You could add little leaves.
Yeah.
Add hearts. Loads of options.
And I think what this collection from Tina does, because they're small, couldn't say the word then, it gives you that little bit more confidence, doesn't it? It's not too overwhelming and thinking, oh, where do I start? And it follows along from that keep it simple story, doesn't it?
Absolutely. No, they are perfect, almost bite-sized pieces of artwork that you can then expand on if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the lovely artwork, so you can go from small pieces to large pieces, can't you?
You can.
So then all we're going to do, so this is the part that I really enjoy. You sort of see it come to life. Okay, and it really doesn't take long to do. And you can pick and choose. See, even my voice slows down as I do this.
I love watching people groove as well.
I know, it's really weird. I've never really realised that until I've seen Barb do it.
Yeah.
And I now appreciate the watching of it.
It's quite satisfying to watch, isn't it?
Yeah. Because it just comes to life. It illuminates the parchment. And what we're doing is we're pushing into the groove, which is stretching the fibres of the parchment, and which then turns it white. So now when we turn that over, you can see, look at that. Doesn't take too long at all, does it? Okay. So I thought what we'd do next, how are we doing? Oh, loads of time, he says, and then the time will disappear, right? Famous last words. So I thought what we'd do, we'd have a look at colour. Okay. Now we have our Pergamano Pergoliner pencils, and we were looking at those in Groovi Tuesday this morning. I'm going to just grab them off the back of the shelf because it's easier that way. Okay. So you can see here we've got our Pergoliner pencils. So you've got your item number there. I know many of our friends have already got these, but if you haven't, then it's really worth sort of having a look at them.
Absolutely. So your item number for this one is 70063. It's an RRP price of £29.99, but you will be saving £5. So that's a special price of £24.99.
Okay. And what's lovely about this collection, just because it says pergoliners, they're not just for your Pergamano. These are lovely everyday colouring in pencils. You get 20 aquarelle pencils, which are a water colour pencil, and 16 what we call basic pencils, which are a wax-based blendable pencil.
Right.
Now these have been well used, so when I take these off, you can see that got some missing. Not to worry though, because you can buy the pencils individually to stock up.
Perfect.
Okay, and I'm going to concentrate on the ones that have the white writing on, which are we call our B pencils. So the B pencils are the wax-based pencils, and the black one with the writing on are our watercolor pencils. Okay, so I've chosen two colors. Now I've gone out of my comfort zone. Okay, remember I said to you earlier, I like those colors of the reds, the yellows, and the oranges.
The sunset colors.
Yeah. Okay, and so this morning, when we were talking, we asked our friends in the room to sort of list your favorite colors, and purples were coming up and blues and everything else. So I thought, right, okay, I'm gonna go out of my comfort zone and I'm gonna choose two other colors that maybe you wouldn't necessarily think would work together.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna zoom in a little bit now, and I'm gonna stretch up. Apparently, when this new camera arrives, we'll be able to control the zoom from a phone.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah, I don't know how we're going to do that. Look at text messages. Oh, it says falling off his chair and fall off your chair. Right, okay. So when you're working with the pencils, back in the day, I always thought you go on heavy to get the vibrant colour.
Yes.
But you don't. You go on very softly. So I'm going to start with my light colour first. Okay.
Is this on the back of
this
the
is on the back.
parchment?
Okay. Yeah, this is on the back. Okay. So that is my colouring. Okay. So when you look at that, isn't that lovely?
Really lovely.
Because for me, with the B pencils, because they're a wax-based pencil, it all comes into play. The magic happens with the Dorso oil.
Yes.
Okay. And with the Dorso oil, you would need your spot-on sponges, which comes in our Colour Essentials kit. Okay. And then I'm going to use my little storage container, I have my blending nibs in. So I'm going to break out a couple of new ones. Okay, and I've got my blending pen. So all we're going to do is take a drop of Dorso, and this smells lovely. It's that lovely citrus smell to it.
Isn't it? I love it.
Really, really nice. Now, way too much on the sponge, but there's no way of controlling what comes there. But I can try and control how much goes on the nib. Okay, and all I'm going to do is that, and there's already too much on that nib.
Oh wow.
Just with that tiny little tap. And if I come on here, and you can see how much oil is on that nib already.
Have you not just ruined your artwork now, though?
No, because that will evaporate. That won't do anything. So you won't even know that's been there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And all we're going to do now is just going to work in a circular motion to break down the pigment of that color. Okay. So if I bring this piece of paper in now, you can see, whoops, the difference.
Yeah.
Of where I've applied the Dorso oil, so it's more smooth. It turns it more into like a paint.
Yes, it does. And quite vibrant as well, isn't
it? Yeah, it does intensify the colour. Now, if you have too much oil on there, then what happens is it can remove the colour as well.
Okay.
But don't panic, because you can go back in and add colour on top. I would say you probably want to leave it about half an hour for all of the oil to evaporate.
Right.
Okay. So what I've done now is put this lovely base colour down, and you'll notice that I'm going over the lines on the back.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter, because when we turn it over, those lines still stay white.
Oh, wow. Yeah, they do, don't they?
So this is why, for me, if you're looking to start colouring on your parchment, the pencils really come into play. Okay. So that's using that lovely peachy colour, the B10. Now, this one, it looks brown, but it's not. This is the B13, and it's like a burgundy colour. So all I'm going to do now is just flick up from the base very lightly, like so. And I'm going to stick with the same nib for ease. And then all I'm doing is I'm tickling the parchment. And I'm just drawing out that colour. Okay. And you can see, yeah, it does, doesn't it? It's magic. I mean, I'm no expert at colouring in, but the pencils and the Dorso oil make me look good.
Yeah.
And it is achievable. It really, really is. Okay. So now, when we turn this over, look at how lovely that looks.
So soft.
It is. It's really, really, and they wouldn't necessarily be two colours that I would put together.
No.
Okay. So then what we can do, so that I would do one flower, then the next flower. If you decide to go for all the same colour, that's entirely up to you. Okay. But then what you can do, you can go back in and you can add a little bit more colour just to the base. And I'm still working on the back. Okay. Now this time, rather than go back in with the nib that has the oil on, I'm going to go in with a dry nib. Okay. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to blend it much more, but I just want to smooth it out a little bit.
Right, so the oil that's already on the parchment, you can move that around now.
Yes.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, definitely. See, and now what I can do, and you can spend as long or as short a time you want to do that. Okay. Then if you wanted to intensify it a little bit further, you can go on the front. I've turned it over. Excuse me. I've turned it. Now this is where you need a really sort of sharp pencil. And all I'm going to do, I'm just going to lightly flick from the base. But I need to be careful of those white lines. Okay.
So what happens if I've started on the front now and I've changed my mind? Is there any way of reversing it?
Say that again.
So if I did what you're doing now,
Yeah.
and then I thought, oh no, I didn't want that.
I've made a boo-boo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I reverse that in any way?
Of course you can.
Aha.
Okay. So this is where the double-ended eraser pencil comes in. It comes in that Colouring Essentials kit. So what I can do now, I'm going to use the pink end. And what I can do now is remove that colour from the front.
Wow.
Doesn't matter how much pressure I'm putting on. I'm not going to squidge those white lines.
No.
Okay. But what that's done is it's now removed that colour.
Amazing.
And if I decide actually I didn't want that colour flower at all, if I turn back over on the back and I use the white eraser, ready?
Wow. Oh, that lifts straight off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So what is the difference between the pink and the white?
Okay, so the pink eraser is like your everyday pencil, just normal eraser, like for pencils. The white one is what we call an ink eraser. So it was designed to, like, back in the day, I'm going to show my age now. Back in the day, before computers were around, there was typewriters.
Yes.
Okay. And when you typed one finger at a time and you made a mistake, you go, So you had what was called an ink eraser, and it was a pencil, and you would rub out the letter, go back and type over it.
Okay.
Then technology changed, and you then got Tipex.
Yes.
And which was fluid, and then technology changed again. It was a little tape runner.
Yeah.
And now, changed again, you've now got computers. So that's the difference between the two. But if you want to take colour off quickly, not necessarily quickly, but more like our coloured parchment we have. If you want to take all the colour off, then the white part of the eraser pencil will take it off more cleanly.
Okay.
The pink one will take it off more softly, so it will take longer to remove.
Okay.
Okay. So when we have a look at this now, that has just taken it back to beginning. Now there is a slight hue of colour on there, but it doesn't matter, because what I'm going to do, I'll go back on with another colour.
Right.
And also what it means is if I have gone over the lines, then I can take my eraser pencil and just go around and tidy up.
Of course. Okay.
Okay. So if you're new to colouring, then really the pencils, double-ended eraser, which comes in that Colour Essentials kit, is a really good idea to get you started.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Now, what I thought we'd do, I've covered it before, and we had a question this morning about the Perga colour pens.
Yes.
Okay. So the Perga colour pens are a water-based pen, which means you can watercolour with them. So if you're stamping and you want to watercolour, then these are great for that as well.
Okay.
Okay. But they can be, if I come on the overhead, you can see here, they can be quite vibrant. Okay. So quite intense in colour. So for example, if I take this pink one here, okay, and one of the great things about these pens is that they're double-ended. Okay, hopefully the camera is, let me move that. Camera should behave. So I don't know if you can see, down one end, it's like ridged. There we go, can you see that?
Yeah, we can see that.
So that is ridged. So that would indicate that that end of the pen is a fine nib.
Okay.
Okay. Glynis told me about this, because I always, because they're double-ended, I always take the wrong one off. You've got a 50-50 chance, and I always got it wrong. So you've got that fine end there, and then when I turn it round, you've then got a thicker nib.
Right.
At the end.
Okay.
Okay. So for example, if I take this piece of paper or a piece of card, you'll see if I do jazz there, turn it that way. It's because I'm sitting at an angle. See, so you can really see the difference.
You can, yeah.
And Barb was showing these yesterday about how to edge your card. So you've got 30 different colours in that tin, and you can use it to edge your card. No, Barb often uses the black.
The Sharpie,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so I thought work with it on the parchment. So here's another one that I've got here. Now, if I take the pen and I want to colour this in, I'm going to go to the thicker nib. Okay. And if I go on this one here, now what you have to, it's different there because they are wet.
Yeah.
And parchment doesn't like moisture. If you keep going over the same area, what happens is that the parchment sort of fluffs up.
Okay, a
because
bit like paper will as
so
well.
it becomes sort of
Yeah.
saturated. So what you have to do is you just go on very, very, the pen is hardly touching the parchment. Okay.
Oh, we've gone blurry.
Oh, sorry. Hang on. Let's move that. See if that. There we go. So what I'm doing, the pen is barely touching the parchment.
Right, okay.
And I call this the tickling technique. Okay. And all I'm doing, I'm sort of working in a circular motion. Okay. I don't know why I'm holding my breath, but I can go over the white lines, but if you go over the white lines too much, it can bleed through.
Okay. So you
Okay.
want to try and avoid that
If
then.
you can, but it's not crucial. Okay. So then all I'm going to do, so I'm using the large nib on the main larger areas, like so.
And you say you're using it really lightly. Black colour comes through really well
Yeah,
still,
I mean,
doesn't
we're
it?
working on a black mat and we're working on the back as well.
Yes.
Now, I know from experience that I haven't gone right up to the edge of that white line.
Okay.
Okay. And the only way it's really going to stand out is if you put a light panel underneath.
Yes.
Okay. But in the whole scheme of things, if I now bring that in like so, you can see how vibrant that is.
Wow, yeah.
Now, when I put it on white, I'm going to see if I can come up with that blurring. But I know over on this side here, this far side, it's just a little bit away from the line. Can you see that? Just under that
yeah,
little,
I can.
yeah, just under that.
Yeah.
So all I'm going to do, this is where the fine tip now comes into play. And what I can do is go in around the edges.
Okay.
Okay. But when we look at that colour and you think, goodness me, that's really bright. It's really, maybe that's what you're after.
Yeah.
Okay. But you can change the tone of it.
Right.
Okay. So in order to do that, in the Colour Essentials kit, you get mix mats. So one has a label that says water and one has a label that says oil. So if you're mixing your B pencils or your Dorso crayons, there's no difference in the mat. We just put two different labels on it just so that if you're using it at home, you can see, look, I've left colour on there.
Yeah.
So I know in order to reactivate that, it's on my water one. I would choose water.
That's handy.
And the same, if I've got Dorso crayons scribbled on here that I can go back on,
right.
I know I've got to use oil. Okay, so there's no difference in the actual mats themselves. So what I'm going to do now, okay, is scribble out using the thicker nib onto my mix mat. Okay, and Bob was doing this yesterday. But what I'm going to do that's different is, although I'm using a water brush, this has never had water in it.
Oh,
okay.
Okay.
Because parchment doesn't like water.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I load this up like Barb did yesterday with water, and then I squirted some out and diluted that down, when I go onto my parchment, it will buckle.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm going to do using a dry water brush, I'm going to pick up that colour, working on the back, and then all I'm going to do now is colour. I'm using the same motion of sort of like a swirly circular motion.
And are you touching really lightly again?
Yeah, I mean, I can apply a little bit because there's no pressure coming from the nib of the water brush. Okay, and all I'm doing now is just covering where, and I'm sure you can already see the difference in the brightness of the colour. It's the same pen, but by using it just scribbled out on my mix mat, it's now going to give me a different tone of that pink.
And I'm guessing because it's a bit lighter, it doesn't matter as much if you go over the white lines.
No, especially in the middle. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, try and stay on. I've just got, and I can't do anything about that now.
Okay.
I can try while it's still wet. Where's my erase? I might. Oh, I did. Yeah. Okay. I just caught the edge of that white. So whilst it's still wet, I've used my ink eraser just to lift it off. But I can't use the ink eraser on there. It will take some of it off, but not all of it.
Okay.
Okay. So what we're going to do now is just go down and apply that colour. So when I turn this over now, you can see, you wouldn't think that that was the same pen,
No,
would
you wouldn't at all.
Okay, so that's the pen direct onto the parchment, and this is just scribbled on the mix mat with a dry water brush. I mean, you could use a normal brush if you've got a normal brush. I just find these more comfortable in the hand because they're lightweight.
Yeah.
And then what I can do is I can then, if I want to, I can take my pencils and I can still go in and add pencils behind it as well. And if I use, again, no water in there.
Oh, wow. Blends out. You don't even need a Dorso oil,
no, because you wouldn't, the Dorso oil wouldn't work with the pens because they're water-based. Okay, so then, I mean, I'm not really thinking about what I'm doing. I'm just spreading it out. But now when we turn it over, you can see. Okay, so that's just really a couple of ways just to show the pencils for me are the safety net. And we spoke earlier this morning in Groovi Tuesday. Choose different colours that you may not necessarily go for.
Yeah.
So what I did, I traced out loads of little flowers and I practiced.
Okay.
And then made a note of what colours I'd use, like B1 and B6 or B10 and B12, to see what colour combination I got.
Good idea.
And then obviously with the pens, you can also blend them as well. So I could take, I've got 30 lovely colours in there. I could take 2 of those colours, scribble them both out on my mix mat and mix them together.
Oh, of course.
So again, so if there's a green and you want it to go a little bit darker, use a brown or something like that. Or if you want it lighter, there's a cream colour. So you can mix it up. So you can really mix around, especially with the mix mat.
Yes.
And you're doing it there. But just always remember, Barb does it as well. Make a note of the colours you've used.
Yeah.
Because if you go back to it and you're thinking, oh, goodness me. Like Barb's been working with the postcards.
Yeah.
And she's written on the back of the postcards what pencils she used and what colours. So 2-3 years down the line, like now where she's revisiting the Feathered Friend postcard, it's on there what she used.
Perfect.
So
lovely.
Yeah. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I've enjoyed it, and it's always lovely to have Jazzy's company. Can you believe that hour's gone?
I know, it goes by like that.
It really, really does. So thank you for joining. Thank you for Grace and the team for being in the room. We didn't have the chat on, but I'm sure there was lots of chat going on in the room. Don't forget to check out the claritycrafts.com website. Go to the blue or turquoisey Clarity TV. You'll see everything in there. You can go to the catch-up area to download the project. You can go back and watch all the previous shows. And then what else we got this week at Clarity? So Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, it's the Shack with Barb, colouring in with her floral alphabet posters. So that's, I think last week it was A for Allium, wasn't it?
It was.
The week before that was the O for Orchid.
Orchid, yeah.
And then on Friday, we'll be back with another 2 hours of Clarity Social TV, 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. And this time we'll be joined by the lovely Deborah Wheeler. And she's got some of Barb's designs and some of Tina's as well.
Yeah.
Real sort of mix match on those. So thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that, and we will see you again very, very soon. Thanks.